Let me come to you first, Samson. Before coming to the show, we were researching about panic buttons and whether they are mandatory for all aggregators in this country. So in the last 10 years, we took out reports in the last 10 years from various states, whether it is Delhi, whether it is Karnataka, whether it is Uttar Pradesh. And one thing is common. Everyone has the intention. Everyone says that by next year, all cabs will, for the last 10 years, by the way, this has been happening, that by next year, all cab aggregators will have panic buttons, etc. But there is no Government of India law or notification which makes it mandatory. Is that part of the problem? When the government itself is not making it mandatory and maybe putting it in guidelines, and when governments and aggregators are fighting over panic buttons and whether they are necessary or not, passengers are left to fend for themselves. In this case, for the lady, she had to run for her life.
Yes, thank you, Shreya. Firstly, it's very sorry to hear what the women experienced today. And it's even more sad that we are discussing this issue of women's safety in 2024, when being so technologically advanced, in India, we shouldn't be talking this. But nevertheless, what we are trying to do is to address this big issue of women's safety from multiple angles. So what you have shared now is just an angle from the policy making, which plays a very big role of women's safety. And I totally agree with you. From a policy point of view, we should have this totally implemented from a top-down approach. From workplace safety, we do have laws like POSH, Prevention of Sexual Harassment laws, in the last 11 years, and that has played a significant role in workplace safety. But in terms of commuting and travel and public safety, I think it's absolutely essential if all these laws are made as mandatory for all tech companies to implement it. From our Unsafe point of view, what we have done is we have basically flipped the model from an emergency control room to giving the control back to the user's own trusted contact. So anytime when a woman is asking for help, the app sends an alert to up to 20 of her own trusted contacts with her live location, and the app taking a photo, app taking a recording and stores it on a very secure database as well.
But Samson, that help may not be 2 kilometers away. It may be 20 kilometers away. Samson, my point is that if you speak to Ola, if you speak to Uber, they say if you cannot, we cannot rely on what our partners do. We can rely on our app, however, and our app has an SOS button. In the case of Gurugram and the lady who had to run, the SOS button didn't work. My point is, can you just depend on the SOS button on your app? And can cab aggregators get away by saying physical buttons not really required, physical panic buttons not really required? My point is, what if your phone has been snatched away by the Uber driver or someone else who's in the cab? What if you're in a no network zone? What happens then? Your SOS button will not work.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's where there has to be a holistic solution, not just a dependence on tech. And tech is only an enabler. And with an issue like women's safety that's big and broad, rightfully, as you said, we need a top-down approach. We need the approach on the education side. We need an approach on the policy level. We need an approach on the whole aspect of women's safety, completely, seen from a different angle.
Okay.
But we do know that tech is a big part of it, and therefore, if we implement the right solutions and if we educate our people on how it can play a key role, it can certainly be a big enabler. Like, for example, even Bluetooth devices. Like, these days we talk big about women carrying a lot of like pepper spray and all of that to protect themselves. But what if we use technologies like a smartphone, an app, or a Bluetooth tag that can aid a woman to protect herself, and in that way she feels more confident.
Okay.
And that's what we aim to do at Unsafe as well.
Okay.